Okay.
Okay, we're recording.
All right. So I wanted to tell you, Catherine, about some of the trips that I went on over the years. Um, I used to travel during school vacation when I worked for about 25 years for the school district. So every February and April, I had a week off. And sometimes I would take that week and fly to Europe or sometimes to the Caribbean or different places.
Who were you working for at the time?
The school district.
Oh, the school. Okay.
Yeah, I worked in the school district.
25 years.
So we had school vacations in February and April, and then summer vacations. But I took advantage of those February vacations to fly to Europe on one of them, maybe once a year, once every other year. So one time I flew to Rome, and I spent a week in Rome, staying at a kind of an inexpensive hotel room. And I really enjoyed just every day getting up and having a espresso coffee, a latte, really, and having a little piece of pastry at one of those kind of corner stands where you get coffee and you get a pastry. That would be my breakfast. And I just started walking and loved exploring all the different streets in Rome. I went to a lot of the churches. Really enjoy. There are some beautiful paintings inside of the churches. But I went to the Vatican several days and went through the Vatican Museum, where they have some amazing, beautiful paintings. And the Sistine Chapel is the Pope's chapel inside of Vatican City, just off of St. Peter's Basilica. And so to get to that, I had to go through the Vatican Museum, and it was about a 10-minute walk through the museum to get to that part of it where they have the Sistine Chapel. It is. It's very big. And so the Michelangelo painted the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, and that's it has all these scenes from the Old Testament, and one of them is a very famous one of it's called the Creation, and it's right at the center top of the Sistine Chapel, and it's where the two fingers of God and Adam are reaching out to one another and just about touching.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of that. Amazing.
And I went there for the first time in probably in the 70s, and it was before they restored it. Sometime in the 90s, they cleaned it. They cleaned off all the candle smoke for the last 400 or 500 years because that smoke sort of it stuck to the ceiling and over the paintings, and it darkened it. So they looked very dark and drab colors. But people were used to it, and they didn't really expect it to be anything different. So I saw that the first time I went there in the 70s. And then I went back maybe about 20 years later after they had restored it and cleaned it all up. And it was amazing, the difference. Just so the colors were so bright. And some people criticized it. They said it almost looks like cartoonish, the way that the bright colors of a cartoon are like that. So they criticized that.
Well, that's how it was made.
Yeah, but that's what he painted, and
That's the real Michelangelo.
but just people weren't used to it.
Yeah.
And but it was amazing. It was really beautiful. And I had my binoculars with me that first time, so I was able to use them to really see closely at the paintings, because the ceiling's pretty high. It's maybe a couple 100 feet high, maybe 100 feet high. So having the binoculars really let me look at it closely.
Good idea.
I enjoyed that.
That's amazing. I've never seen comparisons or heard about comparisons of the chapel ceiling after they
Uh-huh.
cleaned it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a big difference. Some of the bright colors in my paintings are what it looks like now.
Uh-huh.
So it really startled people when they saw it cleaned up that way. When I was when I was walking around Rome, uh, I was in the old city all the time. I didn't go out into the suburbs, and um, there were several places that really were interesting to me. There's a bridge that goes across from downtown Rome into the Vatican area, and it's called the Bridge of the Angels. And the bridge is lined with these big statues of angels that were sculpted by Donatelli, famous Italian sculptor in the Renaissance, the 1500s. That was really, really a beautiful, beautiful sculptures, very dramatic. I'm looking at some of the angels that I have up here that remind me of them because they're also Italian
Uh-huh.
sculptures. Do you know which ones I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
There's a famous clothing designer named Donatelli.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about how did you know where to go? Did you have a map that you just followed to see where you wanted to go?
Yeah, I had a guidebook and I would look at it maybe in the evening when I was in my room or during the day. If I stopped, I'd look at it and see where I was and where I wanted to go, and it helped me get around. Uh, but
Did you wear your backpack and take all your
mhm.
belongings with you?
No, I had a room and I locked the room when I left. So I had a key to my locked room. So I left things there. I didn't really have many valuables, but um, so I had a backpack that I carried with me.
Mm-hmm. So you had your binoculars and your book in there, and
Yeah,
you could refer to it whenever you wanted to.
yeah,
Did the book have maps?
it did. Yeah, the book had maps. It was a guidebook. And yeah, I used a guidebook like that. It's called the Eyewitness series. And
Your camera just went down, Martin. Are you there?
yeah, start recording again.
Okay. I resumed the recording. We had a little problem here, took a break. So we were talking about walking around the
Yeah.
city and using your guidebook and
Uh-huh.
going over the bridge with angels
Yeah.
that reminded you of the Italian uh, little sculpture, little, what do they call
Oh, they're little figurines.
figurines. The little figurines that you have that are Italian reminded you of well, actually, the angels on the bridge reminded you of the figurines. So,
Well, the angels on the bridge motivated me to buy those figurines when I was in
oh,
Rome. That's where I got them.
that's good to know.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really so impressed with the lines and the curves of the garments and the sculptures. That, it's sort of a Baroque style of sculpture and architecture that's really Many examples of that in Rome in the churches. And
What was the name of the bridge again?
it's called the Bridge of the Angels.
I wanna look it up online and see what it looks like.
Yeah, it's well, the Italian name is Ponte de Angelis. And, are you looking it up now, or did you say you want to do that?
No, I just wrote it down. If you want, we could pause and then get the picture and look at it.
Well, let's just finish my talk about it for now. So I had a really enjoyable week in Rome. I walked.
Amazing.
I think yeah, the one time when I went there the first time was that first trip I went to Europe in the early 70s when I was traveling while I was working at the Billerica High School. First time I went there in this early 70s was then.
Mhm.
And then I went back a couple times after that over the years.
Did you talk to your students about your travels?
No, I didn't. Well, I mentioned to you how I have not really told many stories about what I've done in my life over the years. So it's something that's important for me now to be sharing that with you. And so it's kind of an effort for me to talk about what I've done in my life.
I love hearing it.
So next time I'll tell you some of the things I did in Florence, which is another city in Italy, and also Venice. Those are the three cities that I've spent time in. A week in each of those cities at different times.
I think that John and Kathy went to Florence at some point.
Yeah, they did. I remember them talking a little bit about that. And I remember how they said they stayed in an inn up in the hills outside of Florence.
And did they like the inn?
Yeah, they did. And there's somebody who was a famous artist who lived up there. I forget the name of the town. But I'll talk about that next time.
Okay. All right. So do you want to stop the recording?
Now let's stop the recording. And then I'll get set up to do a painting.